Alright, what's up everybody? I'm going to go over how I set up my Piscifun Trollix line counter reels, how I calibrate them. Step by step, I will break down the proper way to calibrate your reels so you get them dialed in, so stick around. A couple of things you're going to need to do this is some type of stake to stake the end of the tape measure in the ground. So you want to run that out 100 feet and stake it down. Line. Pair of scissors to cut the line. I'm running 12-pound Berkeley big game is what I used. And yeah, just a couple simple things you need to do this to get your line counters all dialed in. Alrighty, I'm going to walk you through the initial setup of the Piscifun Trollix reel for adding line to the spool. Pretty clear instructions that come along with this, so you can do this yourself step by step, but this is how I go about calibrating these Trollix reels. So first thing you want to do is power it on. Hold the power button for 5 seconds. Alright, it's powered on. You want to go into the fishing line settings, so hold that for 5 seconds, the set button. To clear, first of all, you want to clear the counter, holding it for 5 seconds. Once the counter is clear, hold it again for another 5 seconds. PE is for braided line, and NO stands for nylon or monofilament line. So press the set button to change it. In this instance, I'm using monofilament line. Now we want to go to selecting the poundage of the line. So you hit set again, cycle through. You want it mono line, make sure you're on that. Your settings for monofilament, if you're using monofilament. If you're using braid, you want PE for braid. I don't know what that stands for. In this case I want mono. I'm using 12-pound Berkeley big game monofilament. The on off button. These are your different poundage of lines. It's 1, 2 for 12 pound. LB is pound. Hit the set button to change. You can go 10, 12, 15, or 18. I'm using 12. So we go there and hit the on-off button to confirm. This is the maximum number of feet that you can spool on the line, or on the reel, sorry. You don't want to spool it up max capacity, I found, with calibrating these reels. Generally, I start out with 500 feet, half of that. It'll hold 1,000 feet, a 12-pound mono line. Start with 500 feet and go from there. Okay. They give you this handy little tool for threading the line in through the reel, which is really cool. I like that. Makes it a lot easier spooling up these bait casters. Now that I have my line set up, I'm ready to enter the spooling phase to take line into the reel. So you hold the on, off, and set buttons for 5 seconds, both of these at the same time. Now the NO will flash for 2 seconds, the poundage will flash for 2 seconds, and the maximum line capacity will flash for 2 seconds, and then it will beep. Now, at this point, you're ready to take up line. And as I stated before, 500 feet is a good starting point. If you spool 1,000 feet of 12-pound line, your counter is going to be way under, and you will have to take line off to calibrate it. Or another option you can do is to restart and set it at a smaller diameter line to get you closer to your actual distance out. So for example, it's 12-pound line, bump the diameter down to 10-pound. But you will need to redo this whole process over with putting new line on. So we're ready to put line on right now. Alrighty, I'm at 500 feet. So I'm going to confirm by hitting on off button, and I'm ready to enter the release phase and see how accurate my counter is. Okay, so this is how you go about it. I staked my tape measure, my 100-foot tape. I measured out 100 feet, stake the end in the ground. I take the spool of line still attached, do not cut the line, and walk it out 100 feet. I then return and check my counter. And this is what I have for reading. I have 92 feet at 100. So if the counter is reading less than the actual distance, you need to take line off of the spool. So I will clip the line, take the line off, and remeasure once again and see what I have for a measurement. Reset the counter to 0. And I'm going to £12 reset. I'm going to walk it off 100 feet again and check my measurements and see what I have. Okay, dead on 100 feet. I wrote the measurements on my hand. My original measurements were short, so I needed to take line off. I was off 3 feet at 30, 4 feet at 50, about 6 feet at 75, and 8 feet at 100. Now you can just do as I used to do and write the measurements on the handle. That works as well if you don't want to spend the time to calibrate. Or in this situation, since I was short 8 feet, when the counter number is shorter than what you have out for distance, you need to take line off the reel. So I cut that 100 feet off where I staked it at the tip of the rod and did another measurement of 100 feet, checking it at 30, 50, 75, and 100. And in this situation, it is dead on accurate, so I don't need to do any more calibration with this reel. Now I will move on to my second reel. Alright, my second one is 91 feet at 100. Tip of the rod at the stake, walked off 100 feet, that's 9 feet short. So I need to take line off of this particular reel. Just as I did with the first one, it was 8 feet short at 100. I wrote the distances on my hand. Second from the left is this rod with 500 feet of line. So it's 3 feet short at 30, 5 feet short at 50. I can't really read my writing there. 7 feet short at 75 and 9 feet short at 100. So I'm going to cut line off of the tip, which would be 100 feet exactly what I took off the other rod, and I should be dead on with 500 feet initially spooling on the reel. So again, 0 the counter, your line all the way up to the tip, and I'm just going to repeat this process and see where we're at. Open the bail and walk off 100 feet again. Alrighty, I took 100 feet off and I'm 99 feet at 100. I checked it at the other distances. 30 was dead on. I was a foot off at 50, a foot off at 75. Yeah, so that is plenty good for me. I don't need to tape any measurements on the handle with these two rods. The first one is dead on. This one is still a little bit. I could take probably 25 feet off of here and it would be dead accurate. But with 500 feet of line, this is just fine for me. Yeah, super happy, super impressed with these Trollix reels. Okay, so yeah, that is how you calibrate your line counter reels, the new Trollix reels. Like I said in the video, I put 500 feet of Berkeley Big Game 12-pound test on there. I know it says with the 12-pound you can put 1,000 feet on there. I find that this particular diameter of line makes the counter run a little behind of the actual feet out. If you want to put more line on, I would suggest going with 15 or 18 pound even. 18 would probably be perfect, as I suspect they calibrate these from the factory with 20-pound line, which would explain the discrepancy with the counter with a 12-pound or even 10-pound is even less feet shown on the counter as well. So that's a little tip for you, is to help you dial these in. But yeah, this is how I go about calibrating my reels. I hope this helps you guys out a lot, and stay tuned for some more videos on the True Wildlife channel.